Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We're on the session 4 of our FastAPI series, and last time we explored the theory of HTTP methods, and now we're putting it into practice. So we'll take out the app from session 2 and actually add put and delete endpoints to update and remove items. So turn it into a full CRUD API that create, read, update, and delete. So it's going to be hands-on and fun. So let's get into it and get coding. Let's kick the things off with the foundation from the session 2 that we have created. So if you see here that we have some kind of foundation here that we started our application. So I'm going to copy these codes, and here I'm going to create a new file called session or section 3.py, and here, sorry, it's section 4. So let's rename it to section 4. And there it is. Let's begin the 4th section. So here what we need to do is just to set up our application, and for that we have to import the FastAPI from the FastAPI, import the FastAPI class from the FastAPI framework that we have installed on our virtual environment, and create the app variable, which is our API. And then right there, we need to work with our endpoints. So we need some data, and let's reuse our in-memory pretended database from the session 2, which is a simple list of items. So here how we can set it up without wasting time. I'm just going to paste the database that we have created in session 2. So this is our database, nice and easy. Our item list is back with apple, banana, and orange, and this is our mini database, and we'll use it to fetch, add, and update and delete stuffs. So let's start by recapping our get endpoint from the last time, and for that we have to add our endpoint that we have created in, I think, the first session or the last time that we have worked with it. So actually let's just bring it back. That was our database, our get endpoint that we had created in the previous sessions. So if you're new here, please watch the previous videos of our full FastAPI series, and we'll cover it completely. So perfect. This get endpoint at items takes an index. So the default index of this endpoint is 0. And return the item that is spot or an error if it's out of range. So if we go to the localhost, we can explore this endpoint and see whatever we want. For example, if we just put the index 1, or if we just tried the index 1 and fetch the index 1 of our tiny pretended database, we get the banana. We already got read covered, okay? So we have the read, okay? And we covered the read from our CRUD application. And now we just need to add the put endpoint to update a value, to update an existing value inside our database, our pretended database. So how we can do that? It's pretty simple, and we just have to add the put endpoint to update items in our list. We cannot add, okay? We cannot add anything. We cannot add a new fruit to our items list, okay? We just can to update an existing fruit. For example, we can change the banana to orange, and we can have 2 oranges inside our tiny pretended database. Okay, so let's cover that. So here I have to create another endpoint. I'm going to call our application app, and the HTTP method that we want to use, app.put. So let's declare the path, and here I'm going to choose items /index, okay, just like that. And here we have to define a function to triggered when we just explored this endpoint using the put HTTP method. And here, we can see that we have a function, and I'm going to call it update item. And inside the update item, we have some parameters like index with type of int and item with type of string. Okay, so here inside this function, we have to define a condition for managing different states and kind of error handling. So I'm going to say if the index that the user wants is less than 0, or that index is greater or equal than the length of our items, that means the length of items inside our pretended database. If this condition is true, okay, what we have to do, we just have to return an error and says that, so actually in section 2 I have that error, so we just have to return out of range error, and this will be amazing. So we return an error that says index is out of range. Okay, so it's pretty cool. And here, if this condition is not true, what we have to do is just select the item based on the index that the user entered, and after that set it or give it a new value, which is the value that the user sends with his request to the server. Okay, that is item, the item that the user sends to the server using this endpoint with the put HTTP method. So if any user of our applications sends an index of type integer and an item of type string, and this condition was not true for the request that the user sends to our server, we have to select that existing item in our database and give it a new value. And the new value will be the item from type string that the users or our user sends us with his request using the put HTTP method to the server. For example, if the user entered the index 1, so we have to select item index 1, which is the banana. Okay, so inside our items, the index 1, so this is the index 0, and the index 1 is our banana, and give it a new value of item. The item is the value of type string that the users sends to us if we pretend us as a server. Okay, so this is the strategy that we want to do, and here we have just to return a message. For example, let's return a message that says item updated successfully. Okay, or we can say that item updated successfully. Let's use f-string here, and says item at index has updated to item. Okay, so I think it's pretty cool and better than the previous approach. So this is our put that we want to add to our API. Okay, so it's awesome. Our put endpoint at the items/index takes an index from the URL path and an item string from the request body of the user. And if the index is valid, so it's gonna update the list and sends back a confirmation, so we can test it. Okay, so let's just open up the terminal here and activate our virtual environment scripts \activate.ps1, and here I'm going to just say uvicore section 4.py section 4 app -- reload, and like you see here, our server started successfully. And here we have an error that says loading the ASGIL. Okay, and let's start again. Oh, actually I didn't save this section full, so let's save it. And okay, now it's running, and right there if we just refresh the localhost, you can see there's nothing, but here, if we go to the docs or the Swagger automated document for our FastAPI, you can see here all of endpoints that we have. Okay, so these are all of the endpoints that we have created for our API. So this is the get that we can try it out and give it an index. For example, if we select 1, this will be our index and it's gonna return the item, which is our banana, completely right and successful. If we select 0 and execute it, it's gonna say apple. If we select 3, we receive an error that says index is out of range because we just have 3 items, 0, 1, and 2. We not have the 4th item with index number 3. So if I'm going to select 2, we can see the 3rd item, which is our orange. Okay, so that was our get endpoint. So if we want to try it out or test our put endpoint that we have created early, so I'm going to try it out, and right there I'm going to choose index number 1 for selecting banana from our pretended database, and inside the item I'm going to change its name, for example, to green banana. If I go and execute, right there we have internal server error. Let's find it out. Why we have this error. Okay, so we have the error that says string object does not support item assignment. Oh, right there I just select the item that I have to select items, which is our pretended database. Okay, so right now we select the item and give it an index, and we want to set that item to item itself. So actually that makes sense. So I'm so sorry guys. So here we have to choose our pretended database, which is our items. Okay, and I have to say items of index and set and give it a new value of the item, which is our request body of our server request. So I'm going to save the changes and restart the server. So let's restart our server here. Let's open up the terminal again. So much better. Actually, we have a question. Reload the server, and if right now I open up my browser and refresh everything, try it out, give it index number 1 and change the banana to green banana, here we have another error. So actually I don't get why we have this error. Let's try it out. Okay, that was the previous error actually, and I turned off my localhost, and let's start it again. So here, first of all, I have to activate my virtual environment and restart the server. And right now, if I open up my browser and refresh the localhost, yeah, and try it out, choose the banana and make it to green banana and execute. Okay, I just received the 200 status code. That means it's successful, and we have a message that says item at index number 1 has been updated to green banana. And right there, if we try it out and just execute the index at number 1, we can see that it changes from the banana to green banana. So that was all about the put endpoint that we have added to our API. In the next section, we're going to add the others HTTP methods endpoints like delete and actually others endpoints that we need to have a full CRUD API.